I'm Bryn Brown, and welcome to this week's class on the 3 phases of spiritual entrepreneurship. I am going to share with you how I have sort of categorized the different phases over the last 5 years of working specifically with entrepreneurs. If you don't know me or we're new to each other's circles, I have been in a business development role, whether it was for myself and my own business or for someone else's, for over 20 years now. I know I look young and that doesn't seem possible, but I've been in business for a really long time. I never intended on going into business development. I never intended on going into sales. But I actually launched my first business without even realizing I was an entrepreneur when I was just 18 years old. I had a hairstyling business. I was doing booth rent. I went to beauty school right out of high school so that I could have a job that could help me get through college. And that was really wonderful. So I did that for a number of years, not knowing I was an entrepreneur. And then I moved into more traditional sales type roles and marketing roles, business development roles, working intentionally for small businesses. So some mom and pops, some small, like under 50 employees, where I had the opportunity to not just work in a sales capacity, but also work in a more holistic development role. So I could see from a budgeting perspective and the finances and prospecting. I could also see product development. I could be involved in the marketing. So I've had my hands in a lot of different things. And that's really helped me in the last 5 years as I have grown my business. So I see people as they go out and launch their own business, and they're in usually one of 3 phases. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because when you're in each phase, you have a unique set of challenges, and it's hard to sort of see outside of those challenges to figure out what you need exactly to get to the next level. And that's what I want for you guys. So first and foremost, if you haven't taken our brand new quiz, you guys, I'm so excited about our new quiz. I dropped the link in the description so you guys can have that link. Please take the quiz. It takes 2 minutes and it's going to give you some actionable tips, more than what I'm giving you here today. So you're going to get, or different than what I'm giving you here today. Okay. So you're going to get some actionable tips that you can start to implement right away, depending on which phase that you're in. But those questions have been strategically mapped out to help really identify more objectively where you might be in your business. Okay. And I will tell you, I've heard feedback from a number of people who are actually further along than they were giving themselves credit for. So I really encourage you to take the quiz to see where you actually are. But I want to pull out in terms of sort of what phase you might be in developmentally. Okay. So the quiz is going to tell you a little bit more in terms of your soul expression and how much that is a part of your business. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit more of a tactical piece. Okay. So the 3 phases are really where you are in your business and can be generally identified by how long you've been in business, though that can get a little nebulous. So the first phase is pre-launch or just starting out. Okay, so if you're pre-launch, you're about to launch your business, or you're just starting out, then you're in the first phase, and that's a beautiful place to be because you have all of this opportunity to create exactly what you want. The second phase is where you're more in a beginner phase. Now this tends to be the first few years of business, but I have certainly met people who have been in business for more than a few years and don't have the systems in place to really be at the more established phase. And so that's phase 3, is where you're a little bit more established. Okay, so let's break down each one of these and what challenges you might be facing in those and what you can do to get ahead. So first of all, if you're pre-launch or you're in your first year, let's say you've just launched your business, congratulations. I want to tell you that first and foremost, congratulations. It's an exciting place to be in your business. And the challenge is often really being able to create those first clients and that first consistent income, right? So those first consistent $1,000 months. So usually you're on your way to making consistent 5K months, and you could be really early on. So maybe you're pre-revenue, maybe you've made a few $100s or a few $1,000s, but there's no consistency yet. That can feel really challenging. The biggest obstacle that I see for people who are very early on in their business is There is so much competitive marketing around what is the right way to build your business. And so we get inundated with all of this information about do it this way, do it that way, use this system, use that system, have this process in place, and it becomes overwhelming and we don't really know where to start. And on top of that, it may feel like a lot of those strategies don't necessarily vibe with you. And so you're being told to go out and do this, let's just throw out the big one here, which is like a cold DM strategy. And that doesn't feel good to you and you don't want to do it. So there's a lot of resistance there. It could be also a visibility thing where in your inner world, we're feeling a bit apprehensive or vulnerable in sharing ourselves in our new business. And so we're not really putting ourselves out there fully. Sometimes it comes down to a fear of being salesy and in your marketing and in your sales conversations. And so again, you're withholding, you're holding yourself back and maybe not getting started. Sometimes I also see people in this early phase where they are taking action and it's not working. So there's either a misalignment energetically speaking, or we're trying too many things and changing things too quickly for any one thing to stick. So I just want to throw out some different scenarios here so you can start to feel into, if you're just brand new, what is it that might be holding me back? What I would suggest to you, if this is you, is to really focus on your first 10. So let's slow things down. Let's not stress out so much about having to be 5 or 10 steps. This was totally me, right? I always expected myself to be 3 to 5 years ahead of where I was in that moment. So if you're brand new, if you're pre-launch and you're expecting to be walking into a 6-figure business and it just feels so overwhelming, we need to slow things down. So what I suggest to you is to focus on your first 10. Okay, so your first 10 consultations, then your first 10 clients. So all you need to do right now is just really start to get the word out. And this is why I teach the referral method, because it's the easiest, quickest, best way to get started in your business if you're just starting out, to get your first 10 consultations. These are your free consultations that you're offering to anyone who's interested in working with you, and then to convert those conversations into paying clients. So once you have your first 10, you're likely to have signed your first client. And then we start to focus on the first 10 clients. So we can get a little bit more sales focused and start thinking a little bit bigger. But I want you to really condense down. This is not about being everywhere to everyone all the time. This is about really getting focused on inviting people in to have conversations and experiencing what you have to offer. Get those consultations under your belt, 10 of them. Then we can start to think about signing clients. The fun thing is you will probably sign clients on the way to those first 10 consults. But that when we remove that attachment, if we're just doing 10 consultations and we're not attaching this need to sign clients in that period of time, then that can relieve some of the pressure for you. Okay. So that's for the beginners. For phase 2, and I'm just going to double check, make sure we're all good here. If any questions come up, you guys just let me know as we go. Phase 2 is when you're still kind of a beginner or a little bit earlier on in your journey. So this is usually the first 3 years or so. But again, the timing isn't as important as it is about what you're experiencing to tell whether or not you're in this phase. This phase is really characterized by you have some experience under your belt. You have clients, you've made money, but things feel clunky and it's maybe not as consistent or as big in terms of revenue as what you want and what you envision for yourself. So this is a phase where you have started learning what works, what doesn't work. This is where you're experiencing a lot and you're really, the learning curve is very steep. So this is an exponential learning phase where every conversation, every client, you're really learning a lot about how you want to run your business and how you don't want to run your business. When you're pre-launch or when you're a beginner, if you're hearing this, this is like, don't worry so much about this. We need to just get some experience under your belt. But when you're in this phase, this is really a time where trial and error becomes really important and where we have to overcome the perceived sense of maybe rejection or failure. Okay, because that's what's really holding people back is like, I've tried this, I've tried that, this isn't working, I want this, I'm not sure how to build it. So what we're focusing on in this phase is really implementing some solid systems into place to help create more ease, more time, more space for you to be doing what you do best. So the systems are automate, eliminate, automate, and delegate. That's what I always say. I can't even go out of order. It makes my brain interrupt. So eliminate, automate, delegate. So we're looking at what systems can we put into place, and how can we create more ease around the business administration part, and also most importantly, creating new clients. So we can have some consistency in the flow of new leads coming in, as well as consistency in our revenue. And sometimes that requires a shift in the offering, right? Your price and your package. So sometimes that's a piece of it, especially if you're up leveling from say 1-to-1, and then you want to start working 1-to-few. So like a group program, or 1-to-many, which would be more of like a digital course or a large scale group program that you're running. So systems are going to be really important for you in this phase. And then also really establishing from a soul expression level, from an alignment level, what do I want this to look like? And why am I implementing this particular system or this particular strategy? So especially for marketing and sales, why am I doing this? Am I doing it because it feels good, or because somebody else told me I should? Hint, it should be because it feels good, not because somebody told you you should. Okay. So this is, again, systems and processes, and really moving into soul alignment so that you can take off. I promise that you will grow go further faster when you are in alignment than if you were doing it just because that's the way everybody else does it. Okay. So the third phase is then now you're an established business. So this is those of you who are 5K plus months consistently. And I do work, because I specialize in really helping people get launched and get those first 5K months. People often think that I hand people off. I do have a select group of VIP clients who are 5K plus month business owners. They have a higher income. Some of them, many of them are 6 figures, and they're already hitting that mark. And really what the challenge is there, it's like, what got you to this place won't get you to where you want to go. We often hear that, and that's so true. So there are blind spots, perhaps some inner work that needs to be done, perhaps a reevaluation of the way that you have grown your business. So again, if you haven't laid that energetic foundation, or maybe we were doing it in a way that didn't feel good, no judgment, by the way. I hit my first year that I hit 6 figures in my business, I was maybe 50% energetically aligned. So it works. And I was fast tracking towards burnout. So these clients, or these entrepreneurs that I meet, tend to be, yes, you're more established. Yes, you have consistency. Yes, you have some systems in place. Maybe there's some tightening up there, some tweaking of the marketing, but overall, we're looking to make sure we're in full alignment, and then we're scaling from a place. So if you're more intermediate or in the early stages, you may not be looking to scale yet, because we're still building a foundation. For established businesses, we're looking at scaling, and that has to be done from an aligned, energetically aligned place, so that we can create more revenue, more freedom, right? More time, more space, more openness in your business for you. And that can be really challenging, because sometimes we have those blind spots that even we can't see, right? So that's why we call them blind spots. So it's really about having a trusted sounding board, and having someone or a community that you can go to that's sort of in a similar place as you, so that you can really start to identify those opportunities to tighten up the systems, so you can identify and maybe see some of those blind spots. And so you can start to brainstorm some of the things that you want to have in your business. And, when I work with my clients, we also really strongly, and this is at any phase, introduce the human design piece into this, so that we can get into energetic alignment a little bit quicker. So those are the 3 phases. That's what I have for you today. I encourage you to check out the quiz, because the quiz goes into a little bit more of that spiritual piece and in the energy piece. Where are you in terms of alignment? Because it's so foundational. This is why I love working with beginners so much, and people who are pre-launch, because we can just layer that in from day one. And it's such a more, enjoyable experience than having to undo things. But wherever you are is perfect. It's where you're meant to be, that you're having the lessons that you're meant to have. So no beating yourself up. This is about really where do we want to go from here? So wherever you are, again, it's perfect. And where do we want to go from here? And how can we create that? I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you're catching this on replay, #replay. I love, there's a handful of you who are just really diligent and religious about coming in every week and catching the replay. So thank you. I see you and I appreciate you. If you have been watching and you haven't made a comment, just drop a quick emoji, just a little hello. I'd love to know that you're catching these. If you're catching this on YouTube, please feel free to join our Facebook group, Spiritual Entrepreneurs, Bring Your Business into Soul Alignment. So I'll link that below. And I love you all. I'm grateful for each and every one of you watching, and I will see you again next week. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.